I have asked fellow Digimon collectors and enthusiasts what in their opinion the rarest cards in the original Digimon Digi-Battle Card Game are. Today I share with you the results, as we have a look at the top 10 rarest cards. Do note that this list will only include cards from the original hand-drawn artwork sets, so none of these with the CGI artwork. Let's go! Starting at number 10, we already have the biggest surprise to me when I was making this list. The Digimon Movie Promo Set. Now this set consists out of 12 cards, and as the name suggests, it is a promo set that promoted the Digimon movie at the time when it was in theaters. So this features Digimon from that movie as well, such as Gargomon, Magnamon, Wendigomon, which actually is called Endigomon in the cards. The main reason why this is such a big surprise to me personally is that these cards are still very cheap to find, and they were pretty much mass produced. The one reason why I think that some people might have included it in their list is because that these were translated in both French and German. And I have here two examples. We have a French Antillamon and a German Magnamon. Now, the one reason that I think this might be the case is because these cards are actually a lot harder to find, and this set was also not completed, so not all 12 cards got a translation in these sets. Now, seeing as I asked people all over the world and collectors all over the world, I think that some people might have included this list because of those translations and them being a lot harder to find. Still a very surprising entry, but it made it to number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have one of my personal favorites, the Holo chase cards from the Holo alternative set from the Digimon Digi-Battle starter deck. It's a mouthful, I know.
That's what she said.
And these were inserts or chase cards in later prints of Series 1 and 2 of the Boosted series. Now what is very special with these is that they came in pairs of 6, so 6 per box or per set. And up to today, more than 20 years later, we still do not know all of the cards that came in what box. Only half of those cards, of those Holo alternatives, we know came in what box or in what print. But I actually did make a video just for this set a while ago, so if you want to know more, then head over there and give it a watch, and you will learn a lot more, or at least what we know up to today. At number 7, we have somewhat of a different special set. And when I say set, that is a big word, because this set only consists out of these 3 cards that we see right here. And what is so special about these cards is that you might be able to tell something is off. That is because these aren't actually cards, but pieces of paper. You see, these cards came in a magazine back in the day, and they were inserted as cutouts, a paper cutout, which is also why we have this thick border and we can see the edges of the card right there, indeed ripped out from a piece of paper. And another thing is that these cards can actually not be played in the original Digi-Battle card game because of the Digivolution costs or requirements. For instance, with Flamedramon we see that it requires Vmon with the Digi-Egg of Courage. Now, funny little thing is that back in the day, Vmon nor the Digi-Egg of Courage got a print in this style, only in the later CGI cards with the dark blue backgrounds that we saw in the beginning of this video. But like I said, we're not covering those today. So, bit of a mix-up both in playability as well in actually, you know, how they were produced, because they were supposed to be actual cards, but they became paper cutouts instead. Hey, it happens. At number 7, we have a card that I'm pretty sure most of you know or are familiar with at least. We have, of course, the Digimon World MetalGreymon promo. The first one, let's cover the one on the far left, which is one that most people probably don't know about. This is the German version. So this one, indeed, the text is in German. It's also a non-holo, and this also has a different version, also in German. The one being a promo that came with a magazine, the other one with a CD. Now, one of the two, the one that I don't have here with me, has rounded down corners. This one, however, has the regular corners, but the other one very rounded down. So there's a bit of a difference to differentiate those two. But yeah, that is the German version. Now, of course, the ones that we are more familiar with, or most people are, will be the English versions. And when I say English, there as well is 2 different ones. One being the US version and one being the UK version. I will start with the one from the US, because this is the one that most people probably know and probably have. This one right here, US version, came with the Digimon World game on the PlayStation 1 as a special promo. And if we have a look at the bottom, we can see that it has a serial number as well. So this is 11,009 out of 100,000. So very, very special. And that is how you can tell that is the US version, if it has that serial number. If we however look at the UK version, we will see that it is missing that serial number. So the serial number is no longer there. I'm not quite sure how many of those were printed because of that reason. Nobody really knows. And these, from what I have known, did not come with the CD, but these came in a magazine as a sort of sweepstake. So you would have to enter and have the chance of winning one of these cards. So there is the difference between the two, how you can differentiate them, and of course, you know, the German one as well, but that one is in German, so that one speaks for itself. Continuing at number 6, we have the Swedish promo set. And as the name suggests, this set indeed was only printed in Sweden. Now I have here 3 cards of the set, and you know, 2 of the most famous Digimon, probably MetalGreymon and Greymon. But it's a very special set, however. You see, if we have a look at the Digimon number, for instance, here, or any of the other numbers, doesn't really matter, but it says ST97. So the ST in this case stands for Starter Deck number 97. So with that info we can already tell, hey, this was supposed to be a second starter deck, because we got the first one, which is ST1 up to I think 64. The one thing is that the set was never completed entirely, so only half of these cards were printed in English. And I say English because the original set, or the original starter deck, did see a full release in France. There is what is known the French Mega Pack set, which surprisingly does not make the list today, but I did make an entire video on that, so you can go watch it if you like. Quick synopsis: Upper Deck, who at the time was printing these cards, these Digimon cards, got in a sort of dispute with Bandai, who owns Digimon. And then Bandai basically said, you know what, we'll do the printing ourselves and we'll take care of it, which they did. That is also when the original artwork, the hand-drawn artwork, and the original light blue back turned into this darker back with the more CGI looking, you know, computer animated cards compared to the hand-drawn artwork. So this is Bandai's printing, whilst this indeed is the original set, original printing. Which did later see an entire print as well in this new art style, but for this reason, for these original cards, these are quite unique for that reason. Halfway down the list at number 5, we have these cards. And as you might be able to tell, there is 2 different ones. I'm combining them because they basically have the same story. We have one non-holo card and one holo card of the identical card. So it's almost, you could think like the Pokemon cards these days, where one card is normal and the other one is a reverse. That is however not the case. The reason, once more, is the location of the printing. The holos, they were distributed in the US, whilst the non-holos were distributed here in Europe. Now, these cards both came in a sort of playset with Digimon figures as well. One with the Miracle 4 Digimon, and one with Omnimon, and then, you know, Greymon and MetalGreymon. There is discussion if these are actually German promos, because they are referred to as the German non-holo promo cards. The reason why there is discussion is that these are actually also printed in English, just like the original holos, compared to German. But as far as I know, here in Belgium or most other European places, we never saw them in stores, making them indeed more of a unique print in Germany. Depending on where you live in the world, if you're from the US, you probably do not own the non-holos, whilst if you're from Europe, you probably do not own the holo cards. So that is where they actually are very, very special and very different as well. Moving on to number 4, we have another promo set. This time the Shreddies promos. They might, however, look identical to Booster Series 1 and 2 if you've collected those, and that is because they are a selection of Booster Series 1 and 2. Now, if we have a look at the Monzaimon here, you might think it's the exact same from Series 2, but there are some differences between them. Now, the biggest giveaway would be at the bottom, it reads not for resale. Another one being the numbering CP34. So CP standing for Serial Promo. So we can already assume that indeed Shreddies cards also came with a pack of cereal, for instance. Now, these cards on themselves are rather common, and these did not necessarily make it to the list, but 2 cards from the set did. And that are MetalGreymon and Petemon. These 2 are the only 2 holos from that set. And again, they look identical except for the not for resale and the numbering on top to the original 2 cards. But these 2 cards are, or the holos, are very, very hard to find. The Petemon I've only seen come by twice because I got this one from a fellow collector. And this one is, it's so rare that I still haven't been able to replace this one because this one actually has a crease. Yeah, very, very difficult to find. And if you do find one, be prepared to pay quite a decent amount for it. And for that, I mean, you have to expect to pay up to €100 for it at the minimum per card. So for that reason, these 2, very, very difficult to find, very rare. And that is why indeed they made the list. And then, ladies and gents, it is time for the top 3 of the rarest cards. Taking bronze, we have the French Series 3 booster set. Now, much like the name suggests, such as Booster Series 1 and 2, this was a completely new set, but it was only printed in France and thus in the French language. This set, again, is just like the other 2 Booster Series, a set with 54 cards, and it honestly features some new Digimon, some fan favorites such as Lilymon, Kurisarimon, but also alternatives such as Snow Agumon, for instance. But ladies and gents, what makes this set so unique is that just like any other Digimon Digi-Battle set, every set comes with 3 holos and 3 gold letter cards. Now I have here 1 of each with me. Venomiotismon as a holo and Magna Angemon as a gold letter card. Finding these in this condition, very hard. Finding them in any condition, played, beaten up, damaged even, also very hard, but finding them like this. So these cards will mainly pop up on French second-hand websites or, you know, French eBays and stuff like that. Like the Magna Angemon, for instance, here, I've only seen 1 more card of this one, besides the one that I got here. I have another Venomiotismon, but that one is in a very beaten up condition, however. So just to give you an idea of how hard these cards are to find and how unique they are as well. So very, very rare and very expensive as well. And that brings us to the second spot of our list. And we're talking about the Universal Promos Goldramon card. Now this is an absolute beauty in my opinion. It looks phenomenal. But indeed, it deserves its spot on number 2 because of the backstory behind this one. Now, if we have a look at the numbering here, for instance, it will read UN01. Now, UN stands for Universal Studios. Back then in the day, I'm not quite sure what year it was exactly, in the US there was an event where the voice actors from the Digimon anime, the English voice actors, they would join this event at Universal Studios. And you could come visit, you could ask them questions on all of that. And this card was given away to kids that would show up. Now, apparently, the outcome of visitors was rather low. So what happened to those cards? God knows. Is it true what those people told me? I have no clue because I wasn't there. What I do know is that this card indeed is very rare and hard to find. Because in all the years that I've been collecting, I have seen this one come by only 3 times in total. That makes them so unique and hard to find. And you can tell that mine is a little damaged. It has some scuff marks here and there. But it is a holo shift, however. Like you can see that it's shifted a little bit, which makes this already unique and rare card even more unique to me personally, because I love errors like this, and that is why I picked this one up and not a different one. So yeah, definitely deserves the spot at number 2 in my opinion. And then, my dear friends, we have come to number 1. The rarest cards in the original Digimon Digi-Battle Card Game. The Fox Kids Digi-Destined promo cards. Now, what can I tell you about these? Not too much actually, because up to today, again, more than 20 years later, nobody can tell for sure how these cards were distributed, where they got them from, how they popped up. We simply have no idea. They're so rare, I don't even know how much these go for, or tend to go for. And I also only have these 4. There is 7 in total, all 7 Digi-Destined. I know Carrie is the 8th one, but back then she wasn't part of it yet. So 7 of these, and I only own 4. I only need the 3 remaining cards of this set to complete my entire English binder. I've come across these complete by luck in a trade. That's it. Other than that, I have never seen these. I've never seen them being sold anywhere in all the years that I've been looking for. I've got multiple tags on eBay if they do show up that I will be notified, but I simply cannot find them anywhere. I don't even know how they were distributed. Nobody really knows for sure where they came from or how they got them. Nobody has any clue. You cannot find any information that is legitimate online either, so very hard to find. Now, what makes these cards special, because there is 2 more sets that will also have these cards, such as the Swedish promos and the Shreddies set. They both have these 7 Digi-Destined cards as well. But how you can tell that this is a Fox Kids promo is simple. Just have a look at the numbering in the corner. If it reads FX instead of CP, which will stand for serial promo, if it reads FX, then you've got one of the rarest cards in your hands. Now, that is not like the paper cutouts which you have seen earlier, because these also will read FX. It's a continuation from this set. So there was 10 FX cards in total, but like we've told about, these were distributed in the magazine. Whilst again, these nobody knows for sure. So these definitely are the rarest Digimon Digi-Battle cards in the entirety of their existence. So definitely a piece of history, unique history.